Shall we welcome Jane?
We should welcome Jane.
You know, I mean, it's probably the first time that we've had a guest that hasn't been a professional. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about Alex.
Yep.
Or hasn't been known to us before, like Stu.
Yep.
Right? And so we welcome Jane. Jane,
thank you.
We want you to be comfortable here.
Yeah,
We're not, you know...
Thank you.
One thing I've found, I don't know how you guys see it, but even though we've got microphones here, right, I don't feel constrained in talking.
No, I agree.
And you should feel the same, because the fallback scenario is that we can edit it, and you'll get this sent to you before anything happens to it. And if there's anything that you you feel that it isn't appropriate, then we could do something back.
Yeah, so say anything that you decide that you don't want to be in. If I edit it and I keep it in, I'll make sure that you've got a copy of it, and you can just say. So
welcome. Would you?
Can I just say one thing? One thing Jane won't go into is a page 3 modelling that she did.
No, I'd rather not that be part of it, if that's okay.
Right, okay.
No, because Phil doesn't know about it.
Yeah, my husband of over 30 years doesn't know about
that. Ashley's sitting there now, looking across, going,
"Is that Rich?" No, it's not. That's a joke.
It's not a joke.
We was playing that game, wasn't
and I'm looking at Ashley with exactly the same look as Ashley's got on his face, going, "Oh yeah, looking around."
And by the way, neither did Jane know about that, so I just said it.
So here it is. It's the podcast nobody asked for. 3 guys in a kitchen, drinking coffee and having a chat.
So, Jane, just, introduce yourself. Talk about whatever you want to talk about, whatever you feel, little or as much as you want to. And we'll just pick up as we go along, really.
Yep.
So,
I'm 62.
Don't look 62 this year.
No,
married.
Viewers.
Married for well over 30 years with 3 lovely children, 2 little granddaughters, and my husband is friends with Stuart, and he's part of the Tuesday night little gathering, which the ladies are not allowed to go to, which is great because they need that time and space. But then we can hop along on a Friday when we want to, and it's really nice. It's just a group of us, and we're all different, aren't we? But we can chat about anything and everything. Yeah. Sit there quiet if we want to, contribute as much if we want to, and it's really, really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the guys get a lot out of it because we do, as we do, like when we chatted last Sunday. Yeah. Walking around the park, we just nothing is off limits.
Yeah, that's good. It's nice.
So, how did you hear about us? This
through Stuart.
Okay.
So you spoke to me about it right from the beginning, really, and I think we. How can I put it? I don't know. I think we're quite in tune, aren't we, with people observations, and I don't know, being I don't know how you call it, but I don't know, but we talk about it quite a lot, don't we?
I think we're a good judge of character, and we have similar outlook.
Yeah.
On life.
Yeah.
But what I think we get is we want people to feel they can talk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And certainly for the guys on a Tuesday night, we've got one guy who's recently just retired.
Yeah.
And his wife said to me only recently that she's really grateful for Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And I went, why? And she went, because I was worried about my husband.
Yeah.
So this guy loves life. He's the most generous guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
Too much so, because I'm even though we're not a drink, it's not a drink kind of evening, but we all contribute, we all buy rounds and stuff.
Yep.
So all that on a Tuesday night or a Friday night, and we'll all buy a round and stuff. I'll only have 1 pint, but I'll still want to buy a round of drinks.
Yeah.
And people go, but you only have 1 drink, Stu. I mean, it's irrelevant. I like to, but he's just a bugger. He just won't do it. But his wife said Tuesday night for him, he loves it.
And he's not actually a big talker, is he?
No.
He sits there, and I would say we've probably got a couple there that don't necessarily talk a lot, but I think what's important is that you know them enough that if they weren't quite right, you would know it.
Well, I did share with Ash on the one I did.
Yes, yeah.
About that individual, you know, what had got something that you get at a certain age, and he put it off doing it. Yeah. And I said, if you don't do it, I'm going to keep on and on about that. Because that individual, it's a bit like that.
Yeah, and I think that's important. So even though they might not be overly expressive about their emotions or what's going on or whatever, the fact that you know them, you can think, well, there's a little bit off. Something's not quite right there. You know, let me have a little bit of chat with them, or just watch them, or whatever, just so that you've got that, awareness that you know, and that's good that they all share. I'm pleased that my husband goes because it's such a good outlet for him.
So, what does he get out of it specifically?
Friendship, I guess. A company as well, because he's retired now through ill health. Okay. So he does need to go out and and see people. So I think he really enjoys this, and I think it's not it's just general chat for him, I guess, but it's also an opportunity for him to open up as well if he needs to. And he doesn't always open up at home. He's strong at home, but I hope he does. And I know that if he did open up, he'd be supported. And that's an important thing.
And has he done anything like that before? Is this something that's occurred with these Tuesday nights, or how has he been in the past in that regard?
Are you comfortable going back?
Yes.
To how long this has been going on?
Yeah. So he started being poorly. He was a very fit, active man. His job involved being fit. He had his own business, which he was being very successful at. And then he got suddenly struck down by a very, very serious illness, which kind of came out the blue, and he was only 40. So we're 21 years down the line now, and it completely changed his life. He nearly lost his life. We got young children, and it was a very, very difficult time. And unfortunately, he had to stop his business, change his life completely, and his life was altered in many ways in what he was able to do. And he's had ill health on a regular basis ever since. And he retired just over 2 years ago, and he has had to adapt his life big time.
And he enjoyed that job, though, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He really enjoyed the aspect of that job immensely, didn't he?
Yeah, it was his original job. Yeah, it was a way of life.
Yeah.
It was a way of life.
What did he do?
He was a farmer.
Oh, okay, right. That is a way of life.
Yeah. Born and bred.
Right.
It's interesting, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, because one of the guys wanted to understand what it entails.
Yeah.
And when you look at what a dairy farmer does,
it was massive. It was 24/7.
Yeah.
He was up in the morning before all of us woke up, and then he was back by the children had already gone to bed, and that's 7 days a week.
Yeah.
It was tough, but he was good at it. He'd just take the business over by himself. He'd just won the small business, local business awards.
Oh, wow.
So he was doing really well.
But that's him in general, isn't it?
Yeah. I know.
I'll just share a little quick story. So some of the guys now play snooker on a Thursday.
Right.
My God, is it competitive?
Okay.
Yeah.
Only because of Jane's husband.
Right, okay, he's the leader of the pack.
Unfortunately, he has got a very competitive streak.
Yeah, and it's so funny to hear him, because I'll go on a Tuesday and say, well, how did you get on Thursday? Well, Andy had a really good game. Oh, did you win? No, Phil won. He plays it in such a way of... He
cannot do anything. When the children were growing up, he would never let them win at anything. That's just his way. It's just his way.
But somebody who's that driven...
Yes. It's helped
What
him.
happened to him must have really affected his outlook in life and the way that he was. And how did he cope with that?
He's got a lot of inner strength. He's I think a bit of stubbornness and that competitive edge to him. He is actually very inwardly strong. And in some ways, when he's had a bout of being really poorly in hospital, he has the ability to, that's done, it's gone, I'll put it behind me. He doesn't linger over it.
Correct.
That was his way of dealing with that.
Yeah.
And credit to him that he was able to do that, because otherwise I think his mental health would have been crushed just as well as his physical health. So he's very mentally strong. And a lot wouldn't have coped with what he's gone through, because he's gone through a lot and continuing to go through it.
Well, recently he had when he had the battery change.
That's right. Yeah.
I'd rang him up in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I said, "What are we doing, mate? Are you out tomorrow?" He went, "No." He said, "Probably Thursday or Friday." I went, "Oh my God, mate."
Yeah.
He went, "No. It is what it is."
Yeah.
He said, "I'm just here." Because you and I spoke about it, I phoned you afterwards.
Yeah.
And I said, "What do you mean?" I've been. He said, "No." He said, "I'm in the best place. They're doing what they can." That's it.
Do you mind me asking, Jane? And feel free to just say no. I don't.
Yeah.
What was it that happened?
Right. He when he was a teenager, he had. They weren't sure whether it was colitis or Crohn's disease, so it was autoimmune. That was all controlled by medication. And ever since I've known him, he never had a flare-up. He was, he was maintaining good health to maintain doing his physical job. And then he started, it was been about the October time, and he started to go quite jaundice. And he went in for about November to have a simple procedure to put a stent in his bile duct. They found out that he had something called primary sclerosing cholangitis, and they couldn't do the stent. It should have been a day procedure. He ended up with a massive infection. They had about 3 or 4 attempts to get this stent in. It was very, very difficult, and he nearly lost his life. And he was in hospital for about 5 weeks. Came out just before Christmas. Then it escalated into he had heart block, so he ended up having to have a pacemaker, so he collapsed at home. That then that was escalated into something else where he had red cell aplasia. He was in hospital for about 4 months. Then he had bowel cancer, so he's had to have his bowel removed. He now has sarcoidosis in his lungs, and he has it in his spine. So he has sepsis. He has, because he's got a ileostomy, so he's got a stoma. So he has to be very careful with that, because he gets blockages. He's got a lot to deal with, and that's been going on for 21 years. There's probably not 1 year that he's not been in hospital.
And
most of these are blue light light incidents.
Yeah.
And you say that he's quite happy to sort of he's resilient to it. He's got this.
I would say his resilience is getting less.
Yeah.
You would think that each time it would get easier, but it doesn't. It gets harder for him and for all of us, I think. But I think in the early days he was so strong, and that helped us.
Okay.
It helped us all to keep strong. His strength gave us strength. But as he's got older, I think he's found it mentally and emotionally harder.
Yeah.
And our input to boost him and keep him mentally strong through these, we have to do more of that now. He does find, and it's totally understandable.
And that's a huge responsibility for you.
Yeah.
Children, how old are your children?
Now they are 34, nearly 33, and 28.
So they were
quite, 13, 11, and
quite
7.
young at the time.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
And how was that for them?
They all dealt with it in different ways, but they are amazing. They have had to call an ambulance, sit with him, wait, put him in the recovery position, get the sick bowl. You know, they are part of. They know. It's almost like we've got a hospital drill. We have a bag packed all the time. His notes are already on hand, and we just go into automatic. You know, this is what we do, and everybody's there. We're all there. They are our amazing children. We're very, very lucky.
That's good.
Yeah. But that takes its toll on them as well.
It does. But how has it affected you, Jane?
Oh. It's stressful. Because I feel responsible all the time. And even when he's good, it's there all the time. If he coughs, if he's a bit warm, a bit tired, I'm expecting what's coming. Is there something coming? And each incident, there's so many things that I can think back on. I think, my God, I've got trauma from that. I know I have, but I can't touch that yet because we're still dealing with all of this. He knows how it affects us all, but I can't burden him with that because he's got enough to deal with himself.
Absolutely.
So I have to have an outlet myself for that.
Yeah.
What do you have?
Yes, I have good friends, and my children are good, but obviously, I can't burden them too much either because they're dealing with it themselves. When they've got their own networks of support,
And they've got their own children as well. You said.
Yes, yeah, my daughter has. Yes, we've got 2 little granddaughters. It's impacted in our lives in so many ways, but we're grateful that we're still here. He's still here. He's still able to, do some things, and whatever he is, able to do. He loves his garden, and he's made that into a competitive
He's got his own YouTube
thing.
channel.
He's got his own YouTube channel.
Really?
Yes, he has. Of course, he doesn't just grow vegetables. He grows competitive vegetables.
I would think, Jane, you're being extremely polite.
Am I?
He is OCD to nth degree when it comes to vegetables. When you see his vegetables, they are a work of art. I mean, he's a national champion in some of the vegetables that he grows.
Tomatoes and onions. National, yeah, unless he's from our garden. Yeah. And he's allowed half of the garden. I would like to retain the other half as a garden. So yeah, we have a very clear boundary.
Okay, we'll have to get the YouTube channel into the.
Yeah, it's called the Tiny Plot. Is it a tiny plot? Tiny veg plot.
We'll get a link onto that.
Yeah, on YouTube. Yeah,
but he talked to us on a Tuesday night about it. So listen to this, and we have to give. And you have to critique it.
But they tease him, don't they? And they say if they're wanting to go to sleep, they'll put it on.
Yeah. So do most of our listeners, to be fair.
But what a fantastic thing that he is able to do that, and that for he can channel his time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all adapted in a way where he can reach easily because he has balance issues. That he'll set it up so that he can prop himself up or sit down and do things. He's adapted it all so well with his watering systems, and if he's a bit tired, he will just come in home. But it's amazing that he can channel his energy and his brain into doing this. And he's good at it.
Yeah. And does he realise that possibly by doing what he's doing on a YouTube channel, he's probably most definitely helping other people as well?
Yes, I would say so. He does like. I think he does like people to come and ask him about what he does, and because none of us really listen to it, we just leave him do it.
Unfortunately, he's dragged all of us.
Yeah.
Me and John being the latest recruits into exhibiting at the local flower festival.
Yeah, I'm veg.
Which is, if Peter Kay wanted a new idea for a comedy
sketch, it'd be that.
Go to a local village.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just
Can I just go back to something a little bit, because it's not often that I get a chance to speak to somebody who's gone through a similar experience that I have, really. So I've looked after my wife, who passed away in March, but I've been looking after her for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Right. And there's lots of similarities, although the conditions might not be the same. What we've all gone through is similar, right? And without going through all the difficulties that we actually encountered, I think when you first start with a problem, something happens that kind of stops you in your tracks. You don't really think about the future in that way, because you're dealing with things now, right? And so you adapt and you change, and you get on with things, don't you? Before you know it, it's 15 years gone.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I wanted to ask you is that there's also it's not just about dealing with what you're dealing with now, but in the same way that you have grief, there's a sense of loss.
Yes.
There's a loss, a feeling of loss in a life.
Yeah.
That you anticipated, that you expected, but suddenly that's changed.
Yes.
How does that affect you? How's that been for you?
You're right, it does. It affects the things that you do together in your life, because we are forever constrained by, how he's feeling or what his abilities are, capabilities are. We probably don't go to the places that we would have done. Where we would have gone. If we go on holiday, we have to make sure that it's where he knows, where there might be a hospital nearby, or that he feels comfortable with, and even then, and it's a period when he feels well and confident to go, and it changes it does change your relationship as a married couple. Because there's that carer element come into that a little bit. He probably wouldn't like the thought of that, but it does, because that's how your role becomes that way. But yes, it does. And it's his. That he has all these things. He's dealing with all of that, but it has a wider. It does have a wider impact. Yeah.
One thing that I recognised as time went on, things became more and more difficult. I did begin to resent the situation, and I'm not asking you to answer to this because it's not right. But I did begin to resent what was happening.
Yeah.
And there was times when I pretty much lost it.
Yeah.
And I felt that it was something that I was conscious of, and I know that Anne was conscious of that. And I didn't really want me to remember our time together as being resentful.
Yeah.
That was a very difficult time. And then in the end, I didn't want her to remember me in that way too. So it's a very, very difficult situation. And you're right in terms of it changing our relationship. I'm talking, maybe 7-8 years or whatever now. I would say that, there was no longer a husband and wife kind of relationship. It was literally a carey relationship. And that was really hard because that's not what we expected. That's not what I thought we were going to end up to. We were going to have a long life together and all the rest of it. And I don't want to cover that too much because it's not a situation you're in at the moment. But it's very difficult. So I didn't seek any help during the early days. Later on, and I'm going back maybe around about 2017, so that would have been about 7 years after her tumour and all the things that sort of happened to her, and her real difficult mental health problems that we had over 4 or 5 years. I then sought help, and I was then put in touch with a carers group.
Oh yeah.
It was a group that were chosen, if you like, by the mental health service team, who are carers of loved ones who have mental health problems in bipolar symptoms and psychosis, that kind of thing. So we were a group of people that were going through similar experiences. But the idea of the group was to allow for these people to learn more about the conditions that their loved ones were going through, and understand the treatment, understand how to care for them, how to deal with their episodes and things like that, but also more importantly to look after themselves. Now that helped me tremendously, right? Without seeking help, that group was enough to keep me going. It allowed me to be in a room full of people that had the same experience. I could feed off them in terms of help and support, that they could give me, and that helped me tremendously. And then when I think about things and I hear things, and I think there are carers groups for everything, every condition or whatever that you're looking after somebody with. There's a carers group for it.
And that's good, isn't it?
And I'm just wondering, you might not have a specific area of a condition or whatever, but there is the Carers Trust. I don't know if you're aware of the Carers Trust.
No.
It's an organisation that basically supports carers in lots of different ways. So I'm just handing that out to you. We can talk about it separately at some point. But they do exist. I mean, certainly they exist in Coventry. They're based in the Coventry City Library, and they'll do things like doing a carer's assessment. So they'll look at your situation. You look at your husband's situation. Look at what might be needed to help him continue to live at home, etc. Those kind of things. But then, more importantly, to look after you and what you might need as a carer. So, just something that I thought that might be.
Without speaking about something that I know nothing of, a carers group. I mean, you're saying about specific conditions, but I would understand that a carers group could be of different conditions as well, couldn't it? Because it's the concept of caring for somebody, not necessarily always about the specific condition. And you touched on just there, Ash, about how you felt resentful, and we spoke off podcast about how you would get angry at times, and you shared with me some behaviours that completely
is not me.
It's not you. Nothing. It couldn't be further from who you are. And do you? You pretty much already answered it. You wouldn't have perhaps become that person if you'd have been supported earlier on, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult. I mean, I guess my complete desire all along was to look after Anne at home as long as I possibly could. Yeah. And maybe as time went on, that really wasn't sustainable. And so no matter what, I think I would have probably still gone through all of that pain and resentment and anger and frustration and all the rest of it. And I recognised it in the end that it wasn't something that I could continue with, and a condition became far more difficult for me to safely keep her at home, which is why I had to then look at alternative things. But I think when you talk about the conditions, the different conditions that people might have as carers looking after their loved ones, the importance of being in a group that is where the people have a common experience is very important, because it's not just about ourselves, but it's about other people who've looked after loved ones with similar things going on. Because the opportunity and the strength of their experience in supporting you is immense. So it's not a generic kind of carer's role. No. Every carer's role is different based on what the person is looking after.
It is. It's individual, isn't it? And you get a lot of comfort probably just knowing that somebody else is feeling the same as you. And that gives you a lot of reassurance that actually you don't have to feel too guilty about how you feel, that it's a natural journey.
It is.
Of dealing with, that kind of stress that but then you do feel guilty because you think, well, it's not me that's going through it. It's not their fault. They didn't choose to do this. So all of that is all part of your thinking process that you go through, and it is a journey, I think.
It is. I mean, a lot of the times you don't have time to think about
No, you don't.
what the other person's going through.
Yeah.
Or your prime objective is to look after them as much as you possibly can. I think about it now.
Yeah.
Now that she's not here, I think a lot about the struggles that we both went through, but more importantly, what she must have gone through.
Yeah.
You know, somebody who was bright and cheery and very intelligent and all those kind of things that she had, you know, for her to become unable to do those things later on in life must have had an amazing kind of effect on her.
Yeah.
And I do think about that a lot.
Yeah.
I have time now to think about all of those things. It's unfortunate that she's not here with me now. And sometimes I do think a lot about the kind of things that I could have done, even over and above what I did do. You know, it's that sense of loss thing, which means that, you know, now thinking back on it, maybe I should have done something slightly different, more, you know.
I know.
You know what it is.
I know.
You know what
I know.
But I mean, to say hindsight is 20/20 is it's a bit of a cliche in that respect, isn't it? Because you can only do what you can do, given the information that you've got at that time.
Yeah.
The experience that you've got at that time. I mean, I'm sure, Jen, you've learned and developed a lot in over 21 years to know you've changed. You've probably changed how you handle things.
Yeah.
Naturally, you know.
I think as you know, when you're young, you evolve into a slightly different person anyway, don't you? But yeah, you know, we're all shaped some way, shape or form by the experiences that we have.
Yeah.
And we, you know, and we adapt and, you know, and do the best we can.
Yeah.
I think also it's the people you surround yourself with.
Exactly, it is.
I mean, because
we're lucky.
I'll share, and hope you don't mind, you can edit out if you want. But Jane and I had this conversation near enough by Christmas, do you remember? And what Christmas means to people. You know, get families getting together, turkeys, all the kids, presents, trees, the lot. But to some people, it fills them with dread because they associate that with illness.
Yeah.
And you and I had this conversation,
yeah.
do you remember? And it was a case of, I don't like Christmas because I always worry about what's going to happen in 2025.
Yeah, New Year.
New Year.
Yeah, it's New Year. I like Christmas. New Year's Eve, I used to like it. We used to have great fun. Yeah. But New Year's Eve now is probably I'm at my lowest at that time.
So tell the story about last New Year.
Oh yeah, we. Well, yes, we did. I know that's right. And I was, well, we were at the club, weren't we? And I thought, for some reason, Phil wasn't there. Whether he wasn't very well, he wasn't very well. And I thought, I'll go up on my own. I thought I'll only have one drink. Well, we stayed there all night. After midnight, we did the whole caboodle, didn't we? And it was brilliant. And it was probably the best New Year Eve that I'd had for a long time.
And that was the one just gone.
The one's just gone.
Yeah.
Because we'd already had this conversation about, you know, there's two of us really, wasn't there, that really found New Year's Eve difficult. And for me, it's always one of those things, and I think, you know, what's the next year? What's going to happen? And I just got myself in quite a low place. But I went out and I was with these guys, and you know, even though Phil was at home, bless him, I probably just, you know, he was okay. But yeah, it was good, and it was a really good time, and I really appreciated that.
It was just one of those nights that if you could write down on a piece of paper, it would be that night.
Yeah, everything
just fell in.
It just all clicked into place, didn't it?
From one of the guys. One of the guys falling asleep.
Yeah, we'd had too much to drink.
Yeah, and then this was after 12 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
So we'll paint the scene. We're sitting to this kind of in the corner of the room, our corner as we call it, and Rick Astley's on Jules Holland.
Yes.
And he sings this song, "I'm Never Gonna Give You Up."
Yep.
And one of the group, Pete, likes to drink in a lovely way, dozes off.
He's quiet, isn't he, though?
But he dozes off and he wakes up, "Never gonna give you up."
Just from nowhere. And it's the most surprising thing from knowing him that he would ever just break into song like that.
So
it was
funny.
Good. Yeah,
but
yeah.
To somebody like Jane who's dreading it, you can now look back on that with really fond memories.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we can share the stories. And that this year, we've already said we can't wait.
That's right. We'll do the same
New Year's
again.
Eve.
Yeah.
Because we'll do
and
the
it's
same.
and that's it, and it's changed it.
It's changed your interpretation of what it's going to be about, which is really nice. Isn't it? That actually you've had some positive experience out of it.
And I haven't shared this with Jane, but Tuesday night we talked about Christmas. We're talking to Phil about farming because one of the guys was really intrigued about farming and milking a cow. Isn't it all automated or all this type of stuff? And Phil was saying what he loves, the first thing he remembers, Jen, when he was poorly, I don't know if he shared this with you, was Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Having Christmas dinner with the family, not having to shoot off.
Yeah, that's right.
Or not even be there.
That's right. One of the positive things, and I think you always have to, whatever happens, is always try and find a positive in something, is that he had more time with his family. He'd missed the first 13, 11 and 7 years, and he was able to, know his children, spend time with his children. Now he's got 2 little granddaughters. He's very active in helping, we have them regularly. And he missed all of that time with his own children, and he's enjoying that now.
And maybe still would have missed it now if he was still in that line of work.
Exactly, yeah. He would have missed all of it.
Yeah.
And we're very, very lucky. We're very close as a family. So that, that's a good thing. But yeah, wow.
It's just funny how he's turned it around.
Yeah, that's good.
So look at that positive, and he shared with us on Tuesday night, just what we're talking about.
Yeah, just randomly like that.
And he just brought it out and said, Christmas to me. And now I understand why he loves turkey so much.
Because he associates it with... Oh yeah, he won't have it until Christmas Day.
Thank you.
Right.
He won't. Yeah.
Because to him, that is Christmas.
That is Christmas
I think
Day.
for a lot of people it is, isn't it?
I can't stand turkey.
No.
You see, I love turkey.
Yeah.
Right? But it's just when you meet somebody that... It's not the turkey, it's
what it associates.
It's
It's the association. Yeah.
And you can see the persona of that individual change because he's thinking then of all the good times. He's not thinking of the bad times per se. He's removed those and replaced it.
Yeah, and that's so good that you can do that.
And that's what we get on the Tuesday night. Over a bag of crisps.
I know,
whatever.
but how amazing is that?
And that's
why
that's
good.
He'll chase us and say, "You out tonight?"
Yeah.
It's a bit like I would say to Ash when you do your podcast, because I know what you guys get out of it.
Yeah.
We get it on the Tuesday.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
On the Friday night, we have to be careful what we share.
Yeah, because we're there.
And you don't have the editing software to get it out.
No, we have certain individuals.
No, once it's said, it's said.
Yeah. And as you know, the old adage, what goes on tour stays on tour. That's Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some of the characters on Tuesday night have no editing facility.
Yeah.
So they will then divulge
something
on a Friday they shouldn't be, because we share it on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because it's man's night, it's when we can be free.
What about women's night? I mean, do you have an opportunity to do that?
No, we don't actually, do we? Not with that little group.
No, you could arrange
I mean,
that.
I do women's night with my, I'm lucky, I've got a lot, I've got different pockets of, circles of friends.
You shared with me a story coming in, you're a question evening.
Yes, I did, yes. Yeah, well, last night, yes, I did.
You have that question group, you don't have...
Yeah, I have.
You don't have the ladies.
No, from there, but I've got a group of ladies that I go out with that are mums from when our children were all little, and we've all stayed friends.
Yeah.
So we quite regularly do things.
Are you open up to these people? Are those people that you can talk freely?
Yes. Yes, there are. There's probably 2 that I would definitely open up to. And I go dog walking with one of them on quite a regular basis. And that is lovely.
Okay.
I mean, we both enjoy walking our dogs, but you just chat about something or nothing when you're going round.
I'm glad you used dog walking.
Yeah.
Why do you say that? What are you saying?
Right in the gutter.
It's his gutter.
I was thinking of that Peter Kay.
Yeah.
What was it? Car
share one. Yeah.
Thinking that sketch when she leans out the window and the guy's walking the dog.
Yeah. A dog in.
And she said doggy.
Yeah.
That's all. Sorry, Jack.
What?
You can edit this out.
So you enjoyed
Yes.
those evenings. What else
Then I've got
makes you happy?
my family and my friends.
Yeah.
And you know, even though we've gone through the different times that we have, you know, we're lucky that we've got so many good things, and I'm so grateful and appreciative of those, because they keep my mental health, you know, okay. And I know that when times are really difficult and feels really poorly or something like that, I know that I've got people that if I message or ring, or even just people say like Stuart, even just that little text message, is he okay? Are you okay? That means just so much at that time. And I'm lucky I've got that support.
We do share WhatsApp messages.
Yeah, we do.
Some music.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we've got a group WhatsApp, and it's really nice. It's just nice. Yeah.
So do you have anybody specific that you can go to for?
It's funny, isn't it? Because I probably yes, but you have people in your life that you probably say different things to, don't
yes,
you?
Do. Yeah.
So, but yes. You know, I'm very close to my daughter. You know, we've got a lovely relationship, and yeah, we do talk a lot. But then obviously there's things that you don't always want to share with you. So I do have friends, but you know, if I'm honest, I'm not sure I completely open up 100%. I feel always a little bit guarded.
Yeah.
Because. You know, there's deep things there, isn't there? That you know that you, like you probably, I would probably be able to have this conversation separately with you, because I know that you will have felt those things without judgment.
Yeah.
Because you know you've had those feelings or whatever, and probably somebody who hasn't experienced things like that probably wouldn't understand or be judgmental for. But. Yeah, it's I'm lucky. I do have. I have had counselling before. Yeah, purely when I've really struggled, and I thought I just need a little bit of help now.
Did you seek that out yourself?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
And how did that go?
It was good because it released that peak of. Tension or feeling, or that feeling of feeling overwhelmed, and I'm at the point now where I don't feel I can cope anymore, and if I can't cope anymore, then I'm not helping the person I need to help and the people around me. So I got to be able to bring it down. I think I've got quite a high threshold, but once I'd gone beyond that threshold, I could sense it. And I thought I need to step in here and do something, and it doesn't take it all away. It just brought that level down to be within my threshold.
That's very interesting, because one of the things that I found, because I earlier this year I had some counselling too, and one of the things that I found, having gone through the sessions and looking not just at the current situation, but looking at the past.
Yeah.
What it did was that it actually reminded me of what I had done and what I was doing.
Yeah.
Right, and the benefit that it had for my wife. One thing, but it made me recognise that I actually was doing an amazing job.
Yes.
And it gave me a sense of value.
Yeah.
Which you kind of lose.
Yes, you do.
In situations like we're in. And reminding me of that amazingly gave me, in a way, a strength to carry on. Although things became very, very difficult, obviously, earlier this year. But actually recognising what I was able to do was something that kept me going. And I think that's important. Having value, because you sometimes you feel that you're just doing stuff 100 miles an hour. You're not having a chance to take time for yourself, and you just don't realise that.
That's right.
The other thing it made me recognise, and I think we talked about it before in the podcast, and you kind of mentioned it earlier on, is the idea of not thinking too far ahead, but getting on with what you're doing now, right? And that kind of gives you the ability to,
it does, because I don't think you've actually gained too much benefit by trying to think too far ahead.
No.
Because thinking too far ahead could be a scary place. So I kind of I don't know, I've had to change my perception and think, okay, today's a good day. We'll enjoy today. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. He might suddenly get an infection, or I don't know. Yeah. But today's a good day, so we'll just enjoy today. And it's I don't like to think, and I think that's probably why that, going back to that New Year's Eve thing, that was a scary thing, because it made me think of that coming year.
Yeah.
What's going to happen,
yeah.
and it's not nice. Yeah. It takes you into a negative mindset, and I don't want to go into a negative mindset, because that's not healthy. So to try and bring it back to a positive mindset is to just think, I'm okay today, he's okay today, we're all right today. Today's a good day. Let's get on with it.
That reminds me of a quote from American comedian Bill Burr. I don't know if you've heard of it. And he's been interviewed, and he says,
you got to be fine. And even if you're not going to be fine, isn't it better to just exist thinking you're going to be fine until it's not fine? And then when it's not fine, then you can just handle it then. But there's no sense to ruin right now, right?
I think that's something that you two have both learnt from obviously your experiences of not thinking too far ahead, not worrying about the future too much, living in the moment, because to be fair, we could all, regardless of our situations, we could all do with doing that a lot more, because we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring for any of us.
No.
At all.
Well, nobody's promised tomorrow, are they?
No.
You can be the richest person in the world, you can't buy time, and you can't buy the future.
No.
The past is gone, you can't do anything about the past, just learn from it. But you can't put off things. If you want to do it today. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. I think it's good to have things in the future to look forward to.
Of course. And you can't just, you can't just literally treat every day as if it's your last, because you would, there's things that you do need to prepare for. You do need to plan. You do need to look ahead to an extent. But I think we all do worry a little bit too much about what is going to happen.
Do you think that's an age thing?
Yeah.
Because I've started to think there's more, I'm now starting to think I'm not indestructible.
Does that make you, so in the sense of the age thing, so you're thinking that you feel more as if you should live in the moment now than you did when you were young?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's mentally important for me. Because I'm not as strong as I used to be. And I'm not as indestructible as I thought I was.
Yeah.
Because I'm a human being.
Yeah.
And when you get older, you've got to understand that your body's going to fail you. It's natural. And as soon as you can, I think, and I'm struggling with that at the moment, but I think when you can accept it, you're a better person for it.
Yeah.
And I think talking about it and just saying, guys, I was having a chat with Phil Tuesday night, because I've got to go and have a procedure done. And he was just saying, you're doing the right thing, because he's been through it.
Yeah.
I've been through it once before, but I've got to go through it again. And it is nothing. Yes, you've got to be apprehensive, yes, you're going to be worried and stuff like that, but I'm doing something that's more proactive and reactive.
Yeah.
And speaking to Phil, who's gone through all that stuff, is a great soundboard.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that when you get older, you've got to accept it. You are going to go and see the doctor more than you were in your 20s and 30s if you're lucky. I never used to go and see the doctors, because but now, since I've turned 50, I'm seeing more and more of the doctors. So being with someone that's actually lived it and has that strong willpower reassures you. Just go and get it done.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a break?
We can have a break.
Yeah.
But just before we do have a break,
You've got another joke, have you?
It's not a joke. This is serious. This is a paradox.
Oh, right. Okay.
This is serious, right? And you mentioned it. It reminded me of it, right? Okay. It's called the Rick Astley paradox.
Oh dear.
Okay.
You're not going to start singing.
You must have reminded him of this.
No, I'm not going to start singing, right? But you know the Disney film Up?
Yeah,
yes.
love it.
Right?
Love it.
Well, if you ask Rick Astley to lend you a copy of Up, right, it is the Rick Astley paradox. Because he's never going to give you up, but he's also never going to let you down.
Can we have a break?
Want a breakdown?
Yeah.